Djay Pro controllers should you use at your next gig? I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and I am going to show you. When it comes to controllers for gigs, a lot of people get thrown off. They think that if they're getting paid to do a professional DJ gig, that they need to have the most expensive, biggest DJ controller with all the bells and whistles, and they think people are going to go and judge them on their equipment. But that's not the case at all. You could do a very professional, very good DJ set and DJ performance for a party using a controller like this. This is the Newmark DJ To Go To Touch. There'll be a link in the description down below. It's one of my favorite for beginners and advanced DJs. This is more, you could get more of a use out of this if you're an advanced DJ than if you're a beginner, because then you'll know tips and tricks and creative ways to get all the features that you could use with this controller. Now, it's only $90, and then if you have the iPad like this with the controller, now you have access to all the buttons on Djay Pro and every screen, so whatever controls that you don't have on the controller, you could use them on the screen. So it's basically like having a much bigger controller. I would recommend every DJ that uses Djay Pro to have this controller, even if it's just as a backup, because if you bring a bigger controller and then that's your main controller and something happens, it's not working, the wire's not charging or whatever, then you will have this as a backup. Because if you're doing bigger parties, you're going to want a controller that has some more features and that will have better audio quality. This one does have an onboard soundboard, so you can, but it only has I think it's a 3.5 millimeter, so it's like a headphone jack that goes into the speakers. So if you're using bigger professional DJ speakers, you're better off using different connections. Like this one has RCAs, and some of them even have LCR connection, which will have better audio quality. Now, when you're doing bigger gigs, maybe like a wedding or a bar mitzvah or something like that, you're going to want to be able to plug your microphone in. So the next controller has a spot to plug in your microphone. So now, if you're looking to see what controllers are supported with Djay Pro, let's say you find something on Facebook Marketplace, or you just have an old one that you used to use other software for, the way to do it within the app is you go over here, you press the middle button, you go to Settings, and then you go to MIDI Devices. So this is where you're going to find everything that involves controllers, mapping controllers, and then changing settings like crossfader cutting mode, invert crossfader, and stuff like that. Also, if you have a Bluetooth controller, this is where you will find the Bluetooth pairing. The first time I used the Bluetooth controller, I went to my regular settings in the iPad and tried to connect to the Bluetooth like it was a speaker, and I was like, oh, this controller doesn't work, blah, 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 and I couldn't figure it out, so that's how you do it. So now you go to supported DJ controllers, and here are the recommended ones. It gives you the 6 most popular ones, I guess. And the one that I'm going to talk about is the Reloop Mix-On 4. Right now, this is the best professional DJ controller for this app, in terms of the connections and in terms of the amount of knobs and buttons. So we go over here, we're going to click on it. So now this is a 4-channel controller. I'll show you guys a little more close up. It's a 4-channel controller. You could do iPad, you could do your Mac, you could do Android. Anything can connect to it. And it was designed specifically for the app. It has the stand like this one does. It's one of the only other iPad DJ controllers that actually has a stand. I have not personally used this one, so I don't know if the stand will fit an iPad with the case in, because the Reloop Buddy, you can't you have to take it out of the case, and it's a whole big thing. I always talk about this because I'm not going to DJ at a party with my iPad without it, not in a case. I would be too scared of something getting ruined. So the difference with this controller compared to the like mid-grade ones like this, like the new Mark, Mixed Track and stuff like that, is going to be the connectivity options. So here you have all of these different ways you could connect to it. So let me see, where was that? Right here. So now you see you could connect, you could have it from your controller, you could have it going to your main speakers, and then you could also have it going as like a booth monitor. So speakers that are facing you when you DJ. This is more popular in like club DJ settings where you're playing with really loud music and you want to be able to hear what the audience is hearing. So you have your own monitors for you that's separate from what the crowd is hearing. And now this obviously has a mic input. So you could plug the mic right into the controller and you could level out the volume and I think you could do the pitch with it. So now you could control your mic, control the volume, and have it mixed in with the controller. That's very important. But now, all of this aside, that makes this controller professional, it also makes it a lot more expensive. So you could get the same type of thing out of a controller like this, which is only a couple $100, or even a controller like this if you get a little bit creative. So how you would do that would be if you had a separate mixer, or I used to use the speakers that I used for my DJing. I used the Samson's XP Expeditions, and they already had a mixer on them. So I could just plug a regular headphone wire or any type of wire into here, then into the speaker, and then I could also plug my phone. I could have my phone connected on Bluetooth, so if something, you always want to have backup plans when you DJ. So if the iPads crash in, always be able to just go boom, press play on your phone, have Spotify, or even have a deck loaded onto DJ Pro for your phone, and then you could have backup plan. And then also, those speakers came with a wireless mic. So when you're purchasing stuff for your setup, always think of how you could save, how you could cut on cost, and how you could already use stuff that you have, and how you could eliminate stuff. Like some DJs will bring their controller, a separate mixer, then the speakers, and then that. But why do that when your speakers, you could get speakers that come with a mixer? Also, the microphone. If you guys are doing a more creative setup like I've been talking about, and you order them off Amazon, and you just get some type of big Bluetooth speakers that you plan on using for DJ, some of them will come with a wireless mic. And then, so now you have your mic, and then you have your speakers, and then you just need a controller like this, because you don't have to be controlling the mic through the controller. So when you guys are booking these gigs, make sure that you don't, like, if you're getting paid $300 to do a gig, don't go out and go buy $500, buy $1,000 worth of equipment. Use controllers that you have, or buy an affordable one, and then you have a table, and then you set it up with your speakers. So don't let not having the fanciest or the newest controller stop you from going out there and pursuing gigs, because you could still do the gigs, get paid, and then save that money, and then build up over time to more professional and more expensive setups. But for now, go make the calls, go into restaurants, go on social media, get yourself some gigs, and get yourself out there. I'm DJ Spiegel Spin, and I make videos about DJing with the iPad and DJing with DJ Pro, so subscribe to this channel and give this video a like.